NBC7's Nightly Check-In is sponsored by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Flood and Restoration.
We know how.
California surpasses New York to lead the nation with the highest number of coronavirus cases. County leaders say it's a wake-up call for San Diegans to follow the public health order. Thanks for joining us for the Nightly Check-In. I'm Mark Mullen. So today, county leaders stress that residents need to follow the order to avoid more restrictions in the future if we don't turn our numbers around. Leaders also announced the formation of a safe reopening compliance team. When formed, the team will help business owners who have questions on whether they are in compliance with the public health order. They'll also serve as a resource to investigate complaints from people who believe businesses are not following the order. They say the most important thing right now is decreasing our positive cases.
San Diego is better off than most counties in California. But the reality is that unless we start turning things around soon, we run the risk of seeing our hard work wiped out.
California's coronavirus case total is currently 415,663. 763, I should say. New York's coronavirus total is currently at 415,094. San Diego, by the way, reached 2 milestones today in the pandemic. There are now more than 25,000 cases in our county. 385 new cases were reported in the last day. And get this, 18 people died from coronavirus in the last 24 hours alone, raising the local death toll to 505 people. Today, Governor Newsom announced the extension of a contract to provide hundreds of millions more masks to protect essential workers here in California.
When you're burning through 46 million masks every month, you start to do the math that even having 100+ million of the N95s in inventory, you can go through those pretty quickly. Having shy of 200 million of those surgical masks, you can go through them quickly. So we need to go big and continue to be bold in our procurement.
The governor spoke from a warehouse in Sacramento where many of the N95 masks and other PPE are being stored right now. He said the extension of the contract, which China-based company BYD will provide an additional 120 million N95 masks and 300 million surgical masks. Physical therapy for kids during a pandemic is tougher than ever, but one clinic in Chula Vista is adapting by teaching hands-on therapy online to parents. Jennifer Canaris at Collaborative OT Solutions says the therapists at her clinic have been incorporating telehealth and teletherapy when in-person contact is not possible. Parents are trained through FaceTime or Zoom to do exercises with their kids when they can't come to the facility.
Really, it's our job to help coach and train the parents.
A lot. I've learned a lot.
Despite the telehealth and teletherapy sessions, Collaborative OT Solutions says they are still only seeing roughly 30 to 40% of their usual clients. 4 months into the global pandemic, and the coronavirus has the nation's major airlines bleeding cash. This even as some passengers start to trickle back into the sky. Just a couple of months ago, airlines saw passenger levels drop 95%. Those levels now are closer to 73 to 74%, less than the previous year. But now that has stalled as coronavirus cases surged in the South and the West.
As long as we see COVID-19 continue to spread around the country and we don't see a break in the infection levels, we're going to see real limited numbers in terms of people taking flights.
United Airlines says it is losing $25 million a day, while Delta says it is losing $27 million a day. Delta CEO also says they are preparing to be a smaller airline over the next couple of years. A cool down coming tomorrow. Dagmar joins us next, right after this quick break.
NBC7's Nightly Check-In is sponsored by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Flood and Restoration.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe. We know how.
Time for a new water heater? Call Bill Howe, San Diego's most trusted plumber since 1980. So whether you are looking at a traditional tank or a tankless water heater, you know who to call.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe. Because we know how.
Your Thursday is shaping up to be pretty much the coolest day of this work week. So you will continue to see these low stubborn clouds along the beaches, and that will leave you in the upper 60s on the low 70s. So we'll be slightly below seasonal norms. And your temperatures in through the inland valleys, you are looking at about that mid to upper 70 mark. A few low clouds there in the morning as well, but really the stubborn coastal stuff will be an on and off tricky situation for you at the beaches if you're looking for a lot of sun. Ending up seeing your temperatures in the deserts, well, the mountains, let's not forget them. You'll be right around the upper 70s and the low 80s. And then seeing those desert zones at 103, 4, and 5, which is way better than 110, 11, and 12, which is where you're headed over the next 10 days. But don't worry about that. Enjoy your Thursday. This is a nice break.
MTS is kicking off its Clean Ride campaign with the goal to make sure that people feel safe riding the bus and trolley again. So ridership on trolleys and buses plunged by about 70% when the pandemic began. MTS says that they are doing all they can to make things as safe as possible. They've installed plexiglass shields in buses and are regularly cleaning and sanitizing the buses and trolleys and the stations. Riders we spoke to today say they feel safe, but wish people would do a better job of following the rules.
People just doesn't know what 6 feet is. So I try to stay as far apart as I possibly can. If it's too crowded, I just wait for the next bus.
The face masks are not enforced. And even if they are enforced, sometimes they don't put them on their nose. And then once they get on the bus, they take it off.
Both those riders did tell us they feel safer on the buses because there's typically someone there to regulate the rules. Comic-Con 2020 is officially underway, but of course online this year. And despite the usual crowds and costume characters we don't see this year, people are still finding ways to celebrate at home.
Exhibit hall, all right. We set up an impromptu exhibit hall in our living room. We even lined up.
Fans near and far are showing their love of the pop culture festival by creating their own at-home versions. This year's Comic-Con at Home set up a feature online for fans to print their own badges and Comic-Con door signs for a more authentic experience. Some super fans are even going as far as digitally recreating the San Diego Convention Center. Maybe they can make it expand without all of the politics. You can find the full list of our online panels on our website. Just search Comic-Con at Home on NBC7.com. Also, we should mention that even though it is online only, it's free. It's going to do it for our nightly check-in. I'm Mark Mullen. Have a good night.